Go ahead, Marcel.
Hey everyone, this is Marcel Allen with Dreamosity, and you can follow me at Dreamosity on Instagram. This month we're launching Drawtober. So this is the first time we've done this. I've got a new assistant. She's a fantastic content creator. She's been helping me. And really the whole point of Drawtober is to help you learn not just to become a better drawer or creator, but to get those big ideas out of your head. Because while a lot of us are like, I can't draw, I can do skits, stick people, or I've got a third grade level of drawing, we have a lot of fear and anxiety around being an artist or being a creative. But what I've learned on my own journey, through thought leadership, and a lot of my clients are thought leaders, they're authors, they're course creators, they're politicians, they're public speakers, they're comedians occasionally. And oftentimes we have these beautiful ideas and we cannot articulate them for the life of us to our graphic designer or to an illustrator or to a cartoonist or to our social media manager. And there's a lot of frustration. And so this entire Drawtober, Dreamosity's Drawtober, is designed to help you, one, consume better content. I'm going to be shouting out great content creators. If you know people, please send them my way. I just shouted out Angie Latham today, who I think several of you know. Our first prompt is on Zentangles. And Zentangle is this meditative form of art where you really just kind of doodle a squiggle and create a balance. And so much of what I wrote about in Financial Joy is about how do we know the data behind our dreams. And with finance, money, and taxes, there's a lot of anxiety. To me, art, I can just chill. I can just doodle, I can sketch, I can make colors, I can make a mess. And so I want to blend this logical information with some of this artistic presentation. And so if we can develop ourselves having better resources to content creators, we can then become better content creators ourselves. And so Drawtober, it can be drawing, it can be doodling, it can be sketching, it can be storyboarding, it can be mixed media, it can be photography. You can draw inside, on your profit and loss statement. You can Zentangle around those numbers if you want, right? So I want to encourage people to play, to explore. This is not about your perfect sellable art. This is about growing your own muscle as a content creator. And so Drawtober is happening starting, October 1st, tomorrow. But more importantly, I want to share with you, I think you'll appreciate this, Tammy, because you're an advertising buff. And I know several of you guys have seen this, but this is a framework I created after working with a remarkable man by the name of Les Brown, where I helped scale his brand from 35,000 fans to 100,000 fans in 6 months. But then I came back to the Seattle area and I was like, shoot, why can't I get some people to 100 fans? Like, what's wrong? And the truth is, he was already a celebrity when I started working with him. He had a 30-year career. He had done amazing things. Whereas if you're brand new to your business or to your specialty, you're a rookie, right? So we all start here. But it's not necessarily age that makes us an expert, right? So I've been studying this connection between what makes somebody, branding can improve you this way, right? Being rookie is kind of random and messy and not really thoughtful yet. So anyway, this framework, it measures perceived expertise, because what I know about people in marketing is sometimes, and I hate to say it, the best product doesn't win. The best marketed product wins, right? So there are great pieces of candy on the shelf that have been well marketed, but they're not actually good for us, right? They're not actually fuel, they're crap, but they've been marketed by these creative teams and they've been advanced into over millions of people. And so my measurement on the top is stage 1, which is kind of right now, we've got 5, 6 of us here. We might get a couple hundred on YouTube. We might get a couple thousand if we all share it. And if other people share it, we can move a message to 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, or 1 million. And there are different tactics in marketing. Again, this is for you, Tammy. The idea that sometimes it's advertising, sometimes it's headshots we need to establish prestige, sometimes we need a funnel, sometimes we need events, sometimes we need collaborators. My current favorite one is anatograms in autumn. So these different elements of a marketing campaign or social media are going to move you in different places. And the whole reason I even started Dreamosity Ladies was to help the dreamer, right? When I left my job at Boeing with kind of an emotional breakdown, if you will, I asked my dad, I was like, Dad, isn't there a company that just supports the dreamer? And he was like, no, honey, get a real job. And I'm like, I don't want a job. Like, I'm not a good employee and I'm okay with that. And so I built this company to help the dreamer. So whatever your dream is, as you're watching and listening, do you want to help 100 people with it? Do you want to help 100,000 people with it? Do you want to just study on your own, or do you want to become an expert and a specialist and a sought out, speaker and presenter of sorts? And so I just want people to dream big. And with that, I've learned so much along the way of where we get stuck. And so in 2018, when I wrote Financial Joy, it was inspired by a woman. We had 10 thousands of views for her on Facebook and YouTube. But at the end of the day, she's like, Marcel, what does my profit and loss really mean? Like, what's the point of all this video? And so I wrote the book because I was like, why am I, at 34 at the time, teaching a 70-year-old woman how to interpret her profit and loss statement? And so much of social media is how do we care for those that we care about, our clients, our friends, our family, and financial literacy. It's big on my heart and getting people excited. But here's the thing, ladies, a profit and loss statement is kind of ugly. Like from a visually creative, aesthetically, I value beauty. Those statements are just not exciting. And so with Financial Joy and the creative process I've been introducing to people, I want them to really understand their own patterns, their behaviors, their mindsets, and how that can result to profit or revenue or cash flow, right? Sometimes we don't need to be profitable. We just need cash, right? And sometimes we need profit so we can pay new team members. And so again, back to Drawtober, several of these are designed, like one of them is called the Productive Spider, and one of them is a revenue roller coaster. And there is a profitable pumpkin where the prompt will be, look back at your last 12 months, draw a pumpkin for every month you were profitable. So I know for me this year, I've already had 2 months where I actually was a negative profit, and there's shame and frustration around that, but I'm learning, right? And everybody should be learning what happens. So getting people creative in a fun and playful way, but then we could talk to somebody about it. We can talk to our bookkeeper, our accountant, our sales coach, a social media manager, a videographer. We can take those ideas and do something with them. And so I'm encouraging people to draw, to play, but many of these prompts, they have data points. Well, I'll send you on a scavenger hunt to go talk to your bookkeeper, to go look at your QuickBooks, go check out your Facebook insights, look at those Instagram numbers and see, like, is all this effort even doing anything? And so it's going to be a fun way to get people, one, to play with their brand and to get to the next level, but also maybe even try on becoming a data artist and how that may help them as they steer their own company to do great things. Because whether you're steering a kayak or a large cruise ship, we have to know how to handle money, and we have to know how to handle people and our vision and all that in between. Leveraging our social networks can help. So I'm so excited. And you're all invited to join along with the fun. It's free to participate, so you don't have to pay to participate. If you know people who are great creatives and you want me to shout them out, definitely tag them or recommend them. Several of you here I could definitely give shout outs to, because you're just amazing people. And if you get stuck on one, you're like, I have no idea, feel free to reach out or send me a message on Facebook or Instagram, because I want people to play. And I don't know where we'll be at, on November 1st when we're done. The world will be different from then, because the people that are creating content, they are leading with vision and ideas. And if we can get some of the most thoughtful people to be better content creators, I think really we're going to move some industries forward in new and beautiful, bold ways. Any questions, ladies? There's a lot. Hi, Karen, go ahead.
Yeah, so Marcel, what is the main point of this? Is it just for people to kind of leverage their content or then take a look at their businesses?
Yeah, so back to this little diagram, and this is on Instagram, you'll see it better. The content creator, content consumer. So if you give yourself a scale 1 to 10, how good are you at consuming content? Do you listen to the best of the best, or are you listening to rookies? Do you listen to people who are actually teaching you something? Or are you watching the news and getting more anxious, right? So we as business leaders, we have to consume better content. So part of it is going to draw attention and highlighting better places to consume content. And then the second part is to, again, if you were to give yourself a scale of 1 to 10 as a content creator, are you confident with storyboarding? Are you confident with doodling? Are you confident with public speaking? Are you confident with drawing? So I'm using drawing as the base, but I want you all to become better content creators. So if you give yourself a 7 today, can we get you to an 8 or 9? If you give yourself a 1, can I get you to a 4 or 5? Right? So, and part of that's, we're having to analyze, how good are we at creating content? I feel like in my head, I create content and I can take a couple episodes until it's actually something I'm going to publish, but that's okay, because everybody as we consume new content, and that's where if we consume better content, that's actually going to steer our content creativity. And so the bottom two boxes of this diagram is what I'm focusing on for October. Now get this, ladies, November is going to be all about thought leadership, thankfulness, thoughtful people. I'm going to talk about how do we take the ideas and actually create a vision from there. And so I'll go to the next level next month. But before we even get to the fun vision stuff, I want you to be able to create content in a way where you're excited to show up for your own business and for your own clients and your own communities online. So did I answer your question? Is there another question?
Absolutely. Yes. So, one of the things too that I hear over and over again within our group, because we've got a big group of women here, social media is probably with number one struggle. What do you do? I mean, because I can create content all day, but does it really have a purpose? What is it doing? Is it accomplishing anything? And so I think that do you have a call to action, or what is the purpose of all of that getting out there? Is it just to be known? Is it to become a thought leader, or be a recognized expert? So does this program too kind of help with kind of some of that mind stuff? It's like, what am I doing? Why am I doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. And there are a lot of reasons to create content and to consume content. For me, one of the things I'm frustrated about right now about a lot of content creators is there's a huge push for storytelling and great imagery. And while I think those are powerful and useful, I think that they don't help us make decisions. I've got a sad story in the past of where I was in a frantic, traumatic situation, and I went to Google to try to find solutions. I hit the images tab and I could not find, for the life of me, ladies, and I'm a pretty resourceful gal, I couldn't find what I was looking for. I didn't even know what I was looking for, right? Like, and some of you have heard my story, learning things about financial abuse and legal abuse and institutional abuse. And there are things out there that we don't even know that they are existing. And so if you're in a traumatic situation, sometimes reading a 300-page book is not the type of content you want. You want fast content. And so there's a big theme of speed and speed of consumption. If that podcast takes me an hour to get through for one measly nugget, why podcasting for the sake of podcasting people? No. Like, what is that decision you want people to help them make? And so in the design discussions I've done earlier in this year, we've been kind of coming up with these ideas around decision driving documents, a menu mentality, decision driving design. And so while I do think branded images and headshots are fantastic, sometimes people are looking for, just show me the steps, show me the process. I don't care about your great grandmother's dog in the street. Like there's a point when we just need to hear or to see content that makes us make a decision. And that's where ultimately, when I get to the visual leadership, it is about creating content that helps people make a decision. The thought leader doesn't need to be there talking for us to see and say, oh, I know what to do now. And really there's a flow of consuming content, creating it, thinking about it, and then leading people to make a decision. This campaign, again, is just talking about content, consuming better content and creating better content. And then next month, we're going to dive in a little bit further. But my desire is that when women or men or whomever's out there and they're panicking and they're stressed, they can go to the internet and find something that solves that problem. And some industries are doing just fine. Fashion, fitness, they are fantastic already. Legal, financial. Oh my God, don't get me started. There are some things that need to change. And I'm basically ready now in my new space, and I've got enough courage and team support where I'm ready to take action and really call people to act. So I'm excited about that. And thanks to everybody here. You've all been a part of my journey. And Rayanne, you've seen me go through all these years. You've been such a cheerleader, and you've seen me grow. So thank you, because it does take that encouragement. Because what I know about art and creating is there's a lot of fear and shame, and what if they don't like it, and what if it doesn't make sense? And so we need a place to go to get that encouragement and really bounce around the ideas and say, does this make sense to you, or am I totally in left field? And if I'm in left field, how do I get back to a home run? Because it's okay to go in left field for a while and like explore and play and meet people. But there's a point when it's like, okay, what is the actual content I'm going to release into the wild?
Very cool. So does anybody else have any questions before we stop recording?
Kelly? Oh, wait, mute. How about Tammy?
Yeah, I wondered something popped out at me on day of the Drawtober.
Yeah.
On day 27, you have a boozy breakthrough. So just as an example, what is that? What's the prompt going to be for that one? These
Yeah,
are
so
all fun.
the prompt, I have a lot of my girlfriends who have gone sober or their sobriety, and I'm a drinker currently. And, actually Karen Ray, one of your videos was about a girl who was talking about wine as being a carcinogen. Am I saying it right? And, I've got a client right now, his wife has pancreatic cancer. And so there's a lot of buzz in the world around sobriety and wine is actually, it's been one of the things that helped me survive grief. I'll be honest with you. It helps me deal with things. Now, is that my best mode of relief and stress, to calm down? No. And I know that, so I think everybody is on their own journey of, whether you like whiskey, wine, or grape juice, like there are things that we need to learn on our own. And if somebody tells you need help, that's a different conversation than, hey, I'm just realizing a lot of the women I respect are sober. Maybe I should try Sobertober, maybe you should try it. Maybe you just want to go down to 1 glass a week. So everybody's going to have their own boozy breakthrough. And to be honest, the prompt has not been fully written. So to answer your real question, we're basically a week ahead of time right now, my assistant and I. And so I'm working through what are the data points. But I do know the pumpkin one. I know the taxes one. Can I share with you about the taxes tornado? So are you all caught up on taxes? You don't have to admit it right now. But if you are, you get to use one color in your tornado of taxes to draw whatever you may represent tornadoes. But if you're, say, 3 years behind, which I was up until this year, you get 3 colors in your tornado. So again, it's just a fun way to look at a tornado and taxes and that fear around it. Because if you're helping a friend grieve, and especially if they're a business person, we might need to figure something out without getting into the data, but we want to prompt them to know a really cool accountant. And I've got 4 accountants who I honestly tried to do taxes with, and it didn't work, right? So there's a lot of social, emotional communication skills that just to get to getting it done is it's a mess. And I'm willing to say I've been through it, and now I'm like, hey, if I can help other people, great. And so I'm hoping some accountants can do even cooler infographics with a taxes tornado, because they know a whole different side of it than the consumer. But I know that if we can make it fun, the shame kind of dissolves, and oh, hey, Marcel's tornado had 3 colors, I get 4, but maybe next year I'll only have 1, right? There's a lot of stuff that people in the financial industry and the legal industry, they have compliance issues that prevent them from getting super creative. And so I don't think a lot of solutions are going to come from them. They're going to come from the pissed off mommy blogger, the really creative VA, maybe somebody who's using whiskey to help create content. I don't know, but it's going to come from people who are willing to dive in and make a mess. Whereas compliance, it slows it down. And so a lot of this stuff is to get other people to participate, that then maybe an accounting firm could actually do a proper tax campaign with, we'll see. So I'm excited about that one.
Excellent. Any other questions? Well, Marcel, I think this is so wonderful. You said something about having fun and taking some really kind of boring topics, putting some color to it. I love that about that tax tornado, putting some color to that. It's oh my gosh. And it made me think even just about some of the things that I've gone through, the grief and things like that. If you can put some color and some fun into it and some humor, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I really love what you're doing, and thank you for coming and being a part. And you also had another really important part about helping people to make decisions, and that's why we have these mini sessions too, so we can kind of get in here, get things done, have a couple of quick tips to kind of propel us forward, whether in life or business. So just thank you so much for coming, and I look forward to that Draw October. I actually just recently bought some new colors and so excited to be able to use them.
Me too. I have so much. And then if you guys do come visit the office, I've got cute little key rings that say "Stay Remarkable," because that was my campaign for years around, you can't be remarkable just once, you got to stay remarkable. So that's my encouragement for all of you. You're doing great things in the world, and keep it up.
Yes. So if we want to stop by your office and see your new place, do we book an appointment with you, or how can we stop by and
give me a call? Just text me anytime. You know where to find me. Message me on Instagram.
Okay, great. All righty. Well, awesome. Thank you, Marcel.
Thank you.
Thank you all.